and welcome to another episode of the Glambitious Talk Show. I am Lily Mae, the creator of the brand, and if this is your first time tuning in, please visit theglamceo.com to check out the many opportunities I've created to help women entrepreneurs advance their businesses. You can also meet us at Essence Festival as a speaker, as a panelist, or a guest, so head over to theglamceo.com to stay connected. Today, I have a dynamic woman entrepreneur who is helping business owners protect their businesses legally. Okay, Miss Ose, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ose Omwabu. I am the managing attorney of the Numbers Law Firm. I'm also an affiliate of the Hawes Law Firm, where we do residential closings and commercial closings.
Perfect. So, is there any advice that you would share with a business owner that's deciding to open a brick and mortar?
Yes, just stay on top of your finances. I know that most business owners have multiple business accounts. You just want to make sure that your business accounts are well accounted for. Also, you want to make sure your business accounts are in your business name. We also want to make sure that we are protecting ourselves from breaking that corporate veil, meaning keeping our personal accounts and our business accounts separate.
No, that's a great tip, because I think sometimes business owners might have separate accounts without their business name being on it, because they're not thinking ahead of how important that is to see that their business is making income. It's not just showing you personally making income.
Correct. Correct.
Now, in what other ways do you help businesses protect themselves legally?
So my firm also does trademarks, and we also do business formation. So it's funny that you said that in regards to businesses not having accounts in their name. We have several investors that are new in the real estate field that would like to buy property, but unfortunately, by the time they get to their table, their finances are not in their business name. So they have to buy property in their personal name and then transfer it afterwards. The problem with that is there are clauses that lenders sometimes put in their contracts, and what that means is if any change happens, meaning you're changing the name of the person who owns the property to now a business name, they can call the loan due. So what that means is they can call the entire amount due on demand. And that's not what we want to do.
As stressful.
Right. That's not what we want to do entering, if you're newly entering the real estate market.
Gotcha. Now, what made you interested in becoming an attorney and specifically helping business owners?
So it's crazy because when I tell people what really, pushed me to go to law school, they look at me and like, what? So I would say was after I had my daughter, that's when I really looked at myself and looked at my baby and was like, I can't see myself telling her when she's in her 20s, like, yeah, when I was your age, I wanted to be an attorney. So for me, that was like push enough. I wasn't quite sure exactly what I wanted to do. If I was to let you speak to a lot of people from my law school, they'll tell you, she probably, I did a lot of business stuff, but at the end of the day, I really didn't know what I was going to do in the legal field. That just kind of came to me when it was the right time, to be honest.
And tell me a little bit about balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship, because I know it's not easy. I'm not a mother, and my business is like 10 babies. So I can only imagine being a mother and then also having a business. How do you balance that?
So when you find that out, you let me know, because it has been a struggle. There's some days where I feel like the greatest mom. And then there's some weeks where I feel like the greatest business owner, but I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way at the same time, meaning I don't feel like a great mom and a great business owner on the same day. But sometimes I feel like a great person, and that's okay. So I feel like it's just learning and accepting that you can't do it all, even though that you want to. We wake up every day with a long to-do list, and if I tackle 5 or 6 of those things, I'm okay with that. Before I wasn't. Before, I would sit and tell myself, why didn't you get this done? And all of these negative thoughts would come in my head. But if you think about that, that's not productive. That's not doing anything. The next day I'm waking up and I'm more tired than I was the day before. But that's because of all of the mental negativity that I was allowing my body to consume. So now I've just kind of changed my mind frame and just thanked myself at the end of the day. Well, good job, Ose. You accomplished 5 of the 20 things. That's fine. As long as you're setting yourself up for the next day and just beginning the new day Always begin a new day with a fresh start. Don't begin with any of the negativity from the day before.
Yes, no, I love that. And what that sounds like to me is grace. It's so important that we give ourselves grace, because I feel the same. Like, I have a never ending to-do list, and it's like no matter how much I check off that list, it's still 100 more things.
Right.
And so I like your perspective of being proud of yourself for getting done, you know, what you did, and then the next day starting fresh and not beating yourself up. Because I had a bad habit of that, like, girl, you should have did this, you're meeting the deadline's tomorrow, you know. And I feel like we have to give ourselves grace and do the best we can.
Yeah, I mean, and we live in social media culture. You go on social media, and then you have someone who told you how they accomplished 20 things by 7 a.m. and you looking at yourself like, I didn't even get out the bed. But, you know, it's just getting out the bed, making your bed, taking a shower, feeding yourself. Those are all accomplishments. Because I remember there was a time where I was a little down. I had a phase of, you know, being down where I couldn't do those things. So the fact that I'm able to on most days, it's a win in my book.
I agree. And so a part of, I feel like, giving ourselves grace is it's involved in us also having faith that we are on the right track, that we are operating in our purpose. So I want to pivot a little bit. What do you feel like in this season God is revealing to you?
I would say grace. Also, it's crazy because I was listening to Ty Tribbett on my way over here. And one of the songs I just kept rewinding is, if he did it before, he'll do it again. Also, I know this sounds very cliche in regards to, I keep telling myself he wouldn't give you anything that's too much for you to handle. I know I just messed that phrase up, but some variation of it is what I'm telling myself. And the reason why is because a lot of the times we tell ourselves something is too hard. And then when we finally do it, we realize, well, that wasn't as hard as I was telling myself. I feel like the way that the enemy tries to get you is by not actually doing that first step. And if you just take the first step, you might not know what you have to do in the second, third, or fourth step. But if you take the first step, he'll continue to lead you to what you have to do in the second, the third, and the fourth, and the fifth step. It's not your duty to know everything at once. And that was hard for me because I was a perfectionist, and I realized that in my perfectionism lied my anxiety. And in my anxiety lied me not wanting to do anything. So I was literally stuck and just realizing, like, that's how he got me. That's how the enemy got me. He got me to be stuck. And knowing that I can keep taking steps even though I don't know where the next step is going to lead me. But God is in control at the end of it.
Absolutely. And that sounds like surrender. Like, I think it's so important that we surrender our journey and know that we are exactly where God has us, and wherever he desires us to go, we're going to get there.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm learning in this season. Like, I feel like we're, you know, in a similar place because I feel the same. Like, I have to surrender. I don't know what's happening tomorrow or next year. I turn 43 in a couple of months, and I'm like, well, Lord, I was expecting this, and this to be happening, but this is his life, not my own. Like, I've surrendered my life to his purpose and his will, and then that allows me to give myself grace. Like, okay, I'm doing, you know, the best that I can, and wherever God has for me to get, I'm going to get there. We can't miss what's for us.
Absolutely.
I love that. And so a lot of what you're talking about is, you know, really mindset, and that's how the enemy attacks us a lot, is with our mindset. As it relates to business mindset and legal protection, like, how should we be thinking about protecting our businesses? You mentioned trademark as one way. Is there any other thing we should kind of keep in mind?
So this is like very basic, but not really, because you can't start a business without submitting any paperwork to the Secretary of State that you'll be a sole proprietor. Some people call themselves solopreneurs or what have you, but you're not legally protected. So say for instance, someone were to sue your business and you are sole proprietor, they would have access to your personal assets because you haven't put that shield in place to separate your personal assets from your business assets. Now, in that same vein, since you asked how you would protect yourself, the reason why I answered that question kind of sort of in the negative is you want to look at the worst possible outcome that could happen for your business and then how you would protect yourself from that. So first step, making sure you have that business entity in place, and whether it's an LLC or corporation. Corporation has way more intricacies into it. But however you would like your business structured, you want to make sure it's structured first, shielding you from personal liability. And I would say that's the number one rule for a business in regards to protection. Protection.
Gotcha. And so let everyone know like how they can work with you, get on a call with you, and connect with you online.
In regards to reaching out to me, if you shoot me a DM on the Numbers Law Firm website, I am available. I will answer your questions. I will hop on a quick call. If you want a formal way to reach me, just go on the Numbers Law Firm. There is a link where you can schedule a consultation. It does cost $100. But like I said, if it's a quick question, I have no problem answering a quick question for you.
So definitely book the consultation call. I think it's so important that we protect our businesses and not take anything for granted. I've seen so many issues where someone created a brand but didn't get the trademark, and now someone else is using that brand, and now you have more expenses to fight it versus protecting it.
We have a very recent example in regards to the very cutesy, very demure scandal that happened. Someone else trademarked it, and yes, she still has defenses in which I believe her legal team is going to use for her, but you don't want to be in that situation, you know. I have a lot of videos on the Numbers Law Firm page talking about, you know, protecting your brand from Sally. I just call Sally the hater that's waiting to steal your brand. Just making sure that before you put anything in commerce, you're protecting yourself first.
Absolutely. And the Glambitious name is trademarked. Okay. So don't try it if you're watching. Or I might have to get Miss Ose on you.
Right.
Well, this has been a great interview, and I think it's going to help viewers really shift their mindsets about protecting, because sometimes as business owners, you're operating in your business so much that you forget like some of the important things, like having a business account in your business name or having a brand name trademark before you announce it. And so this has been helpful for that. Again, if this is your first time tuning in, be sure to follow me on Instagram at I am Lily May, and also visit theglamceo.com to subscribe. And thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Glambitious Talk Show. Bye.